All right, the air conditioning on this B&W has been running for approaching 5 minutes now, and we're looking at the pressures here. Like you see, it's 26, 158, and if you come on to the logging, you will see that 26.3 at minute one and a half, at just a little over a minute, 26.3. It is holding a steady pressure all the way. Our high side pressure is governed by our fan. Our fan is a variable speed fan on this, so it's controlling the pressure of what it wants to see by varying the speed. The fan is kind of low, and it's controlling its head pressure using the fan's speed up and down, and that's what you're reading right here. We'll go back to temperature. Let's see where our temperature is sitting here at idle. And sitting at idle, now you can see it right in the one right back there. It's 45 degrees out of the dash. Oh, and I just erased everything. God dang it. Let's go inside and look at, why do I not seek the tool? There it goes. Let's go inside and see what this vehicle does with a few RPMs added to its compressor. Remember, different variable displacement compressors operate differently. And let's see what we got. So we look like we're about 700 RPMs looking up there at the RPM gauge. And since we're about 7 minutes into this operation and we're steady at 45 degrees Fahrenheit coming out the dash right here, just getting down, it's slowly lowering. This car is like 120 in here. It's sitting, as you can see, it's been out here in the sun. It's been parked since this morning, and this is in an afternoon. So the interior, you have to actually cool off the interior. All this leather and everything like that is like burning hot. If you sit there, you burn your legs. And so we're still trying to cool this interior down, so it's fighting that. We're in max position. I'm trying to go for the max minimum temperature that I could get. So let's add a few hundred RPMs here and see if it affects the dash temperature, because different compressors and different AC systems by manufacturers do different things. When you're sitting still at idle, does not represent what's happening when you're driving down a highway. I'm trying to get up there and see what happens at about 1200 RPMs. Okay, there we are. We're about 1200 RPMs. And you can see almost nothing has happened here yet. It's not like some fast acting. There we go, we're dropping. Remember, we're fighting dropping the temperature of the plastic at the dash too, because the sun has been hitting this dash and interior when it's well over 100 degrees in here, sitting all day. So we're still, until you cool down all the interior space, all the solid, the steering wheel, until all this cools down, you will not be able to reach your minimum temperature and hold it. Okay, as you can see, about 1200 RPMs, and we're right about there. Well, let's say we're going down the highway over here. We're doing 25, 35 miles an hour. We're going to be about 1800 RPMs. So let's go about 1800 RPMs, 45 miles an hour down the street. Let's see if I could get a steady foot so I could get a nice, somewhere right around, there we go. I'm just under 1800 RPMs. Now, what you read now will not represent 15 or 20 minutes from now, after all the solid plastic, the interior, the headliner, the carpet, after everything has cooled off, the temperature will drop lower. Unless the manufacturer's cutout point for their thermistor and their programming cuts it out at a higher temperature. Some vehicles will not let you get lower because the manufacturer's components do not let it get lower. And that's a manufacturer thing. You can't help that. Well, you can tweak. There's some things you can do. I'm not going to get into things that could void warranty or somebody do wrong and they chew up a compressor because they tried to follow my advice so they could get 32 degrees or 36 degrees out the dash. It could be done. And no, if you're in the right climate, you don't have to worry about evaporator freeze up. And on residential or commercial, you would never ever do that. You would get evaporator freeze up. Okay, as you can see, we're floating somewhere right about 1900 RPMs. And we are steadying out around 40, 40 degrees. Remember, we have a variable displacement compressor. We have a variable speed fan for the compressor controlling the head pressure. Speaking of head pressure, what do we got down here? Let's scroll on down there and look at our head pressure. Let's see how rock steady we're holding on this head pressure here. See what kind of job that fan controller, because that's a ECM fan. It's actually a variable speed fan. So it's going to try to hold somewhat of a tight margin. As you can see indicated right here, it looks like, was it going down to 175 or so? 177, give me the look. 174.9. I was 1/10 of a PSI off. I have to recalibrate my eyes. And let's see right here, 21 PSI. It's holding a rock steady 21 PSI at the expansion valve, keeping the evaporator pressure at 21 PSI, 21.6 if you want it to be exact. Calibrate it. Come on, focus. Right there. And come up here. My foot left off and I let the RPMs come down and it jumped up. Let me get it back up to that 1800. See the tack up there. I'm trying to keep it at 1800. .5 on the pressure. Let's go back to our what do we got coming out of the dash. That's it. Looks like that 40, 42. This is where this AC system wants to keep it at. And it'll probably get down to that 40 once all the interior is dry or cooled off. So this is your data graph for your temperature. Remember, you take snapshots of all this and include it with your customer's invoice or receipt, your RO. You have it for your records and your customer has it for his records. Where this really comes in handy is where the vehicle customer brings it to you for the first time. Customer's been to a shop back and forth 3, 4, 5 times, several shops, and you record what somebody else did. You can actually record exactly what they did when they accidentally overcharged it. Maybe they undercharged it. You take a refrigerant sample, you might find that they contaminated it with another refrigerant or a high air content. This is all proof that you can data log, prove, and present to your customer and let them know what happened to their car and why it doesn't work right. And then you fix it, and then you data log what you've done to prove what you done was different what the other shop done, and now it's working correctly. All right, that's enough for today on this vehicle. I got more jobs to do, so that's it for today's videos. I'll see you guys. We'll log out here. Yeah, as I'm looking down, I always let the idle go down. See, I let it go down to 1500. Just for the hell of it, let's look at 2500, 2300. Okay, there's 22, 2300. Let's see what happens here. Now, you know, a fixed piston compressor would have just dived for a second on the low side pressure, and we're still 20.1. The only thing that changed for a little bit was the high side, and that was from the fan. The fan has to catch up, senses, it has to send a signal out to the fan to speed up a little more to bring it back down to this area where it wants it. All right, guys, I'll see you. And I hope somebody learned something. And I never put everything in one video. It's all broken up in bits and pieces. I'm only interested in those who want to learn, not those who want to be given an answer. See you guys.